What's good, my little me? Welcome back to another lovely, beautiful, sexy, amazing video of the equally lovely, equally beautiful, equally sexy, and equally amazing LiTTy. I already know what time it is. Now let's go. Now guys, today's video is going to be a full review of STORMZY'S latest album, This Is What I Mean. We'll be going over the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. But before we get into it, you already know what you gotta do. You just gotta like, comment, subscribe, so up to date every time I drop a banger like this one, and hit that note because you're in an E, so you can be the first to know one of these videos comes out. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have listened to this album twice now, as I like to do with all new releases, so I can get a full understanding of the body of work in front of me. And there is a lot to unpack with this new project. This is, of course, STORMZY'S third album, the second being Heavy Is the Head, and the first being Gang Signs and Prayer. And you know, he delves into a bunch of different topics on this album. It had a very gospel vibe. There were a lot of church-type songs, a lot of singing, a lot of choir background vocals. He was, of course, continuing the themes from his past albums, discussing, you know, his relationship with God on songs like Fire Babe and Holy Spirit, how his life has changed from trying to be successful to actually becoming successful in songs like This Is What I Mean. And there seemed to be a new theme of STORMZY now having a woman in his life who he actually loves and cherishes, or rather a woman who's kind of in his life, because kind of in his life and kind of not, because on some songs he's saying that he has a missus, and then on other songs he's talking about how he wants to get a girl back. So I don't know. And he's talking about how he's sorry for what he's done. So it was a bit confusing there, I'm not gonna lie. But I think even Stevie Wonder doesn't have to wonder that the girl in question is, of course, Maya Jama. And this album really did sound like a love letter to her, to try and get her back, or to thank her for already coming back. There are, of course, rumors circulating online that STORMZY is once again giving her the Charles Dickens. So if that's true, then of course, W STORMZY.
She want me bad.
And more proof that black men do not cheat. Because I mean, did you really cheat if she took you back?
I think not.
But yeah, I like the themes that were being discussed on the album as a whole. But in terms of the songs themselves, well, I have to address the elephant in the room, and that is the STORMZY singing. That is quite prevalent throughout this album. And me personally, I just thought it was garbage.
Stop! Please stop, please.
I'm personally not a fan of when STORMZY tries to do the singing thing. I think there's certain artists in the UK that have the capacity to sing and rap. J Hus is someone who immediately comes to mind, but I just don't think Michael Big Storms is one of those guys.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I just don't think he's got the sauce like that. He ain't got the singing juice. So you can already imagine my discontent when I hear that nearly half of this album is of him singing. And on most of these tunes, he's singing throughout the entirety of the song. And I'm just not a fan, personally. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he can't sing. Well, I am saying that. I am saying that. I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way.
KMT the disrespect.
I think the whole notion of him singing was good on Gang Signs and Prayer, because at the time, you know, it caught us off guard. We were like, wow, STORMZY singing? And he's singing that he's blinded by the Lord's grace. It was a pleasant surprise from someone who had traditionally been a trap kind of rapper. And the songs he was singing were actually good. But like any surprise, eventually the novelty is going to wear off. And we're just going to think, yeah, allow it, big man. This is not your vibe.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And of course, Drake has, you know, half singing, half rapping kind of albums. But one, STORMZY ain't no Drake. And two, the rapping songs on this project are so lackluster that it makes the bad singing stand out even more.
I'm just saying.
As I said, STORMZY's had good singing tunes before. Like, I liked Own It, and I liked Blinded by Your Grace Part 1 and 2. But honestly, outside of those songs, it's not looking good, bruv. I'm sorry, STORMZY.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's a perfect segue onto my next topic, which is the rapping songs on this album. And I can't lie, nothing really stands out to me in that arena as well, if I'm being very honest. Again, as I mentioned, I like the themes of the album. I like that there's a lot of stuff in here about uplifting the black community, striving for success, being close to God, all of that good stuff. But I just don't think the execution of those themes has been done as well as it could have, particularly on the rapping songs. For example, on the song Need You, I've got in my notes that it sounded like he recorded it when he just woke up. It sounded like Stormzy didn't even brush his teeth and wipe his ass before he made this song.
LOL, I'm fucking dead.
I shouldn't have to tell you, but that's not a good sign. You know what I mean?
$100,000 for the cheapest ring on the nigga finger, little bitch.
And then on My Presidents Are Black, I was just getting the vibe that it was just nothing new from Stormzy in the rap department. It was very elementary level bars, the same flow in pretty much every song throughout this whole album that's rapping. And I think he played it very safe on this album. And I don't think that's what we necessarily want to hear on a rap album, and not what we want to hear from Stormzy on a rap album. He's never someone I've known to play things safe. Like, it was very much like, me and my guys gonna do the D. Then we're gonna do it and we're gonna pull a beat. She said that she love me, but I do it on the beat. And I pull it for the G, color boo boo beat.
That's not the way you sing that song, man.
Tell me that don't sound like every song of this album. Just tell me. Tell me I'm lying. I can literally make it right now. I'm gonna do it again. She said I pull it on, I do it on a beat. And I eat it for the G, color booty eat, but I will say that the production on this project is absolutely phenomenal. The backing vocals on some of the songs like Fire and Water and Give It to the Water were really top notch. The beat sounded well produced, and it sounded like a lot of time and care had gone into constructing this project, which, as someone who really likes the sonics on albums, really appreciate when people have taken the time and care to construct a beat, because I'm big on beats. If the beat's not popping, then the song's not popping for me. I'm just keeping it a band. I guess the final element of the album to discuss is its replay value, which again, if I have to be very honest, is extremely low. At least for me. I'm a guy where when I come out of an album, I already know which songs I'm adding to my playlist to listen to again. I can already fathom which songs are going to catch on and which songs are going to do well for different reasons. And I didn't feel any of those emotions on this album. There's not one song on this project that I feel like I need to go back to and listen to again.
And that's facts, no printer.
If I had to pick one, it would probably be This Is What I Mean, but that's just because I have to pick one. And you know, from recently listening to Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage, and knowing there were so many tunes on there that I wanted to listen to again right after I finished the album for the first time, I know what that feeling is like from a very recent project. And Stormzy's album just didn't give me that same emotion. Is it fair to compare a Stormzy album to a Drake and 21 Savage album? Probably not, but it's just an example. I did feel that way when I listened to Dave's album as well. I wanted to listen to In the Fire again. I wanted to listen to Lazarus again. I get it. I get that some people might say this isn't a commercial album for Stormzy. He just made the album that he wanted to make. That's what he's been saying in a lot of the interviews that he's done for this album, a lot of the promo. But then my question to you all is, just because this is the album he wanted to make, does that mean this is the album that we wanted to hear? And I have to say, I'm afraid not. As a part-time driller, I have to speak on behalf of the streets. And I've been keeping my ear to the streets. I've been talking to the local drugger dealers, the local trap stars, the local thugnificents. And I haven't heard much, if any, chatter about this Stormzy album. I would hope he was doing a Roddy Rich and feeding the streets, but he's leaving the streets starving, man. Stormzy don't care about you lot anymore.
I don't care.
He knows the money is not in the streets. He knows the money is doing all this singing and kumbaya and thinking it's all sweet like honey and lemons. Yeah, overall, I think this is a very high quality album. It's well produced, it's well written, it's well constructed. The rollout's been pretty great, but I think the replay value is low. Stormzy kind of jumped the shark with too much singing, and it's just not an album I'm in a rush to go back to, I'll be honest. I'll give this album a 6.5 out of 10. If I like the Stormzy singing, it'll probably be higher by a point or two, but I just can't stand it when he starts busting the vocals, man. It just sounds like...
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
In the words of anyone,
It's a bit of a sticky one still.
but let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are you rating this album out of 10? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But on the road to 2,000 subs, you already know what time it is. You can follow my personal IG at the only LiTTyENT. If you care about what I do, I'm not making these bangers for you. I post updates on Twitter as well, so you might as well follow me on there. Because what else are you doing with your life? Absolutely nothing, mate. Stay black, and if you're not black, stay whatever race you are. I bet. Peace.
Well, you ain't know I could sing.